Are you tired of turning every Sunday into a donation drive for your sportsbook? At this point, you might have helped them open a second office, right next to the beach. You see, most bettors lose, not because they're reckless, but because they're doing what everyone else does. Trusting their gut feelings and hoping that today's pick is the one. But hope isn't a strategy. And guessing doesn't beat math. But after switching to a data-driven system, it's helped me and plenty of my coaching clients finally get consistent results. So, if you want to get ahead of 99% of bettors, it's surprisingly simple. And in this video, I'll break down the 7 steps that separate long-term winners from weekend gamblers so you can finally stop funding the bookie's beachfront home. But starting with step 1, and this is where most people mess up. Because have you ever been that guy? You know the one. Rent's due in a few days. You're $800 short, but hey, you've got a solid plan. So, you open Twitter, and there it is. 6-leg heater. Banger of the day. The guy posting it swears his cousin played high school ball with the 3rd-string point guard so clearly, this is insider gold. You slam $50 on a classic 6-leg rent parlay. First leg hits, you fist pump, off to a good start. Second leg barely sneaks by, but it counts. So, now you're locked in. By the 5th leg, you're already drafting the text to your landlord. Sending rent tonight. Now it's down to 1 leg. Your team's up 11 with just seconds left on the clock. And then with 0.7 seconds left, the ref blows the whistle out of nowhere. Foul. And 2 free throws later, the spread drops to 9. And just like that, your rent plan turns into another payout for the sportsbook. I've been that guy too, and the only way to stop doing this is to never take a bet unless the math is on your side. So I built out the full blueprint that shows you exactly how I made my first $1,000 betting like a sniper. I don't share stupid picks or parlays. Just the system you can steal, so you can find the winning picks yourself. So, if you're done with losing money every single week, then hit the link in the description and grab it for free. Which brings us to step 2, and this one simple idea gives smart bettors a real edge, and most people never even think to look into it. So, let me put it this way. Would you ever sell a $100 bill for $75? Of course not. But that's exactly what most bettors do, every single day. They take bets that are priced worse than they're worth. So let me show you how sharp bettors see the game. Say a sportsbook lists a team at plus 300. That means, according to them, it has a 25% shot to win. But the true odds are actually plus 200, which is closer to 33%. So if you take that bet at plus 300, you're getting paid more than you should be. And that's called a positive expected value. Now, yeah, it's an underdog, so you're not going to hit this every night. But let's say you drop $100 on that line 10 times. Team wins 3 out of 10. That's $900 in wins, $700 in losses, but ultimately a $200 net profit. And this is exactly what the bookies hate, because now you're turning their trick against them. Finally, you're not a customer anymore. You're a threat to the syndicate, and trust me, they'll come for you eventually. Next up is step 3, and here we're talking about a different kind of risk. Because sometimes the suit-wearing bookies aren't the problem. Sometimes it's a dude named LockDaddy69 dropping max unit nukes in a Discord full of anime profile pictures. Yeah, I wish I was joking. So a few years back, I paid $97 a month to join one of those VIP Discords. Private group, exclusive picks, the usual sales pitch. But the first thing I see, LockDaddy69. Shirt off, sunglasses indoors, holding a Monster Energy like it's a microphone. He says things like over 3.5 in Korean baseball, lock of the day. He sounded like he knew what he was talking about, so I followed his picks for a week, and I went 3-11 like an idiot. And at one point we had action on a women's volleyball unders in Poland, on a Wednesday. I asked why. He replied, the line looked sus, bro. And you guessed it, we lost that one too. And that's when it hit me. If someone's charging $97 for picks, they're probably not winning from betting. They're winning from people who still think gambling is about hot streaks and Discord clout. So how do you actually spot bets that are worth your money? Well, that's what step 4 is all about. Say you're booking a round-trip domestic flight and you come across 2 websites that are selling the exact same seat on the exact same plane. One charges $300 and the other only $220. So which one are you choosing? Obviously the cheaper one, because you're getting the same value for less money. And that's exactly how sharp bettors look at odds. Each sportsbook is like a different travel site, offering different prices for the same service. Your job, find the best number and place your bet there. The problem is that checking 13 books manually takes forever. That's why I use a tool called OddsJam. It automatically scans every book for mispriced bets with a positive expected value. And yeah, it costs money, but it helps you find profitable bets consistently so you can make your money back without relying on a Hail Mary parlay. But look, OddsJam isn't magic. It's a powerful tool, but like any tool, it only works if you actually use it right. And most people don't. They get emotional, ignore the numbers, go full Lock Daddy 69, and start chasing max unit bangers again. That's why I built a private group to stay accountable and hyper-focused on the process, because this isn't a solo mission. We're going up against billion-dollar algorithms. So, if we're going to win against the bookies, we have to move as a unit. No picks, no guru nonsense, just math and systems. And if that sounds like your lane, check the link in the description below. Now, let's talk about step 5. And this is what no one tells you when you're starting out. When I first got into betting, I thought I was crushing it. I was placing bets every day. And after I hit a few big ones, I convinced myself I had some kind of edge. Then one day, I decided to look at the numbers. I opened my tracking sheet. I was down $632. That was my wake-up call. Because if something shows up as plus EV, it doesn't mean it actually is. So you might feel like you're making smart plays, but if you're not checking your results, how would you know? That's why tracking matters. It's the only way to see if you're consistently beating the closing line. And that's what tells you if you have an edge. And no, you don't need a NASA dashboard to do it. You can use a simple Google Sheet, or tools like JuiceReel, Pickit, or even the built-in OddsJam tracker. And once you've got that set up, you'll know you're betting like a sharp if you're beating the closing line 70% of the time. But if you don't want to create a tracker from scratch, I actually have a simple template you can use. It's designed to show you what's working and flag what's not, so you can stay on top of your bankroll like a pro. Links in the description if you want to check it out. Now, let's talk about step 6, because this one's huge. And it all boils down to one concept that a lot of bettors misunderstand. Think of it like stacking bricks. You start with one brick that doesn't look like much, but keep stacking brick by brick. And before you know it, you've built a house. The same idea applies here. You're not swinging for grand slams. You're quietly stacking small 3 to 5% edges over and over. Yes, it feels slow right now, maybe even boring, but give it time and it adds up fast. So say you start with a $5,000 bankroll. You stick to 1% bet sizing, take 5 good bets a day, and only hit bets with a 3% edge. At first, you barely notice any growth. But after a year, you're up $3,000. And fast forward a few years and the compounding kicks in. By year 6, you're sitting at $10,000. And by year 10, you've cracked $1 million. Obviously, life's messy. You'll withdraw, deposit, hit limits. But the core principle doesn't change. Small edges, stacked over time, will build serious wealth. Okay, moving on to step 7. And this one's pretty wild. Let me explain. A few months back, someone in our group got limited just 5 days after opening a new sportsbook account. And you're probably wondering why. Well, he kept beating the closing line again and again. And nothing makes the books more nervous than that. Because behind the scenes, these nerds in suits are sitting behind supercomputers, running simulations. So, when they notice you're consistently making sharp plays, they don't give you a pat on the back. They send the limit email, their polite way of saying, thanks for playing. Meanwhile, Lock Daddy 69 can go 2-14 for 3 straight months, and the books are happy to let him keep firing off max unit nukes like it's nothing. That's because losing is great for business. Every 6-leg parlay he drops is another deposit toward the bookie's kid's private school tuition. So yeah, getting limited stings, but it also means the system sees you as a problem, a good one. And that limit letter, it's your diploma. Don't take it personally, just adapt. Spread your action across different books. Use backup accounts under family names, toss in a parlay once in a while, bet a public favorite now and then just to keep your profile messy. Because the real game is staying sharp while flying under their radar long enough to keep pulling money from the syndicate. But staying one step ahead of the bookies is just one thing. Knowing how to actually profit from it is another. So watch this video next to learn the exact system to turn sports betting into serious money. You'll learn what it looks like in practice, how the math works out, and why most bettors never stick with it.